Boom, what's going on, guys? How you doing? Welcome to another call. Thank you so much for joining me. Got a ton of stuff to go through today, so I'm absolutely pumped to be here, and hopefully you guys have had an incredible weekend. Hopefully you had a great last week as well, and happy Mother's Day to everyone that celebrates Mother's Day in whatever dates. I know it's different for different parts of the world, but Australia, New Zealand, we had Mother's Day yesterday, which was really nice. I'm based in Australia. My mum is based in New Zealand, so unfortunately couldn't hang out with her, but still sent us some goodies anyway. Thanks, Mum. Anyway, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, see who rocks up. When you do, just smash the heart button, hashtag live if you are on the live, hashtag replay if you are on the replay. And yeah, like I say, we've got a ton of stuff to get through today. It's going to be a lot of fun and really cool things there. So anyway, I will give it a couple of moments. Obviously, slightly different format for the UMM people. Mainly because with Facebook banning third-party apps in Facebook itself, and now it means that we have to figure out different ways to drop our weekly call. So hence the format here. So anyway, a little bit different, completely different platform, obviously on YouTube. Hopefully everyone is subscribed to me anyway. Shouldn't have to even ask that, right? Anyways, gonna give it a little bit and see what the go is. And yeah, like I say, let me know once you hop on, we can rock and roll. Yeah, let's go from there. Cool. So I've got a few things happening there. Let's roll. Cool. Awesome. Alrighty. So, who's had some wins first and foremost? Who's smashing it? Who's absolutely dominating their online business at the moment? No one. No one's smashing it. Well, I'm smashing it. I'm enjoying it. I had a month off in April, which was really nice. Worked for a total of around about 10 months and still brought in cash and leads and all that sort of groovy stuff. So it's the power of when you put all these things into place in your business, right? That's what you can achieve at some point. Now, I'm not saying that the road to get there is entirely easy. It's not paved in gold, unfortunately, but with a bit of persistence, sticking with one pathway and basically not stopping until you get to that pathway, you can design a pretty badass life for yourself and for your family as well. And so that's kind of where things are at the moment. Obviously, with what I'm doing, I've gone through this kind of transitional phase. I have Ultimate Marketing Mastermind. I've got my newsletter, the monetization monthly memo, of course, and none other than the Sanctum of Success on top of that as well. So for folks that are wanting a little bit more close contact, that's what I offer there as well with the Sanctum. So it's kind of my main offer suite, and that has been forged over a very, very long time. Like I say, going through a little bit of a transition in terms of what I'm doing. I'm trying to put in place a lot more recurring stuff, a lot more little assets, such as my newsletter, that's really designed to overload the value on the front end. It's a whopping $11 a month to get into that, to hop on these types of calls and get the support you need to absolutely dominate your business, as well as getting the inside scoop on the cash flow strategies that I deploy in my business that have made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars with various techniques that I use. So that's dropping every month, right? So that's kind of the design, what I'm up to at the moment. That's sort of the big win that I had as well. Obviously taking time off, but then having a few little epiphanies about my business and the direction I want to take and all that type of stuff as well. So just before I forget as well, if you guys check the description there on the video, there is a link to a free document that covers basically 4 completely done for you funnels, right? So 3 of them are hosted on ClickFunnels. Obviously, I can't not sell ClickFunnels stuff, right? Have to. But if you're on a shoestring budget just getting started, there is also a funnel that is completely done for you as well, for a group entry funnel or community entry funnel that is hosted on system.io, completely free. You can just swipe it, just make amendments. There's a video training there which shows you how to go about doing that. And yeah, you can hop on. So anyway, that's it for me, folks. Go check that out. There is a link below, and that's it. Right. So couple of things I'm going to go through today. I've got a bunch of funnels I'm going to review, but first and foremost, what I'm going to dive straight into is someone has sent through basically a funnel map, right? So a funnel map, if you're unfamiliar with that term, it simply means basically where someone is in their particular journey, right? So if they go through a sales process, like what the actual journey that they take as a customer or potential customer looks like. So it could be, for example, we got a $5 front end, and then there's an upsell, and then there's downsell, and back ends is $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000, whatever it is, right? So that's the funnel map. The software for doing it, the person that has submitted this has just used a nice little graphic. So I'm going to cover that, and then I'm going to go through the Ultimate Marketing Mastermind call funnel, and I've made a few changes that are going to be very relevant to the Ultimate Marketing Mastermind people as well, and go through, I guess, why I've structured things in a certain way for that, and then also the other funnels that I've got there as well, both the sales page, which comes with all the copy that you need as well as just a group entry funnel, and I'll explain sort of a couple of little updates I've made around my business recently with relation to that. And also, one other thing is just a very simple opt-in page to build your email list, which for anyone that's been in my world for any length of time, you've probably heard me say this, that well, I say don't start with funnels, which I know is a little bit counterintuitive. Obviously, I've won awards for surpassing $1 million of revenue through a single funnel. So why would I say get started without funnels, right? Why would I tell people to go do that? Well, the truth of the matter is you don't need them to make a very substantial income online, okay? And so sounds counterintuitive. Obviously, as Russell put it, you're only one funnel away. But the reality is that the most simplest funnel you can possibly create is just your social media. I would argue, and I guess through my own experience and that of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students and thousands of customers at this point, that having a Facebook group or a community in some form is one of the most efficient funnels you can create. Namely because if someone jumps into your community, if you guys go and follow one of the links, I'll show you guys a little bit later, or go snoop my Facebook profile, there's a link there that's going to take you there. It is a group entry funnel, right? So what happens is someone, in order to get into my group, unless they find it organically through Facebook, they go through my opt-in page, right? So get rid of that out of your mind for a moment, but I'm just explaining the details. So basically go through the opt-in page. They then have to go check their emails in order to then get into the actual group. And then once they are on that side of things, then there's 3 questions that I can ask. Now that is data collection, okay? And so over time, you start to learn a lot about your audience. You start to learn their pain points, what their desires are, what their struggles are, what they really, really, really would like to learn. And so therefore, that means as a marketer, someone on the other side of that transaction, you don't have to guess. You don't have to guess about your content. You don't have to think, oh, okay, what do I write? Because the audience is actually giving you that information every single day when they join, right? So therefore, that, like I said, that is the most efficient funnel because you already know what they're after. You know what to sell them already. I need leads and sales. Great. Well, I've got this program that's going to show you how to get leads and sales for your business. And so that's it, right? So I would argue that's the most efficient funnel. Now, having said that, at some point, and sorry, before I go into that, the reason I think a lot of people, they feel like it's very counterintuitive information. Like, why would you tell people to go start without a funnel? Because you can build, and I've seen people build, and I know people that build 7-figure businesses that have nothing more than a Stripe link and a Google Doc and an audience, and that's it, right? You don't need all that fancy stuff. But at some stage of the journey, what's going to happen is you're going to want to step away from the sales process. You're going to want to automate a few processes. You're going to want to make better use and leverage use of your time, which is why that's when you start putting funnels in place. Now, why don't you do that to start with? Well, think about this. I'm going to give you guys, like I say, just click the link in the description there. There's a little Google Doc with a bunch of free stuff there for you, right? But here's the thing. One of the providers is ClickFunnels. The other one is System.io. Now, I, over time, have used Builderall. I've got Thrive Themes, which is another funnel builder. I've got Thrive Cart, which is a cart page, but it's technically another funnel builder as well. What else do I use over the years? Kartra. I signed up for a trial. I didn't really use that, technically speaking. But point being is that there is a bunch of them out there. They all do a relatively similar job. Go High Level. Started using that as well, right? But every time I go to do that, guess what happens? I have to spend time and energy learning that piece of software. I have to learn the nuances of it. And so if you're getting started as a marketer and you're like, okay, well, Do I have an offer? No. Cool. Well, you get an offer, right? And then that's when you start to look and build the rest of your business along the way. But if you don't have an offer dialed in, then it's kind of pointless, right? So you start with your offer. That means that you're saving you all that time and energy that would otherwise be spent learning a piece of software where you haven't got a business at this point, just learning a piece of software. And you get your nice fancy funnel done, and you still don't have a business because you don't have an audience, right? So all that mental energy gets spent doing other things which aren't really money-making, needle-moving activities for your business, right? So that's why I say that. At some stage, like I say, you're going to want to step away. And once you understand how to sell stuff, it's going to be way easier for you to build a highly profitable, highly successful funnel. Now, for readers of the Monetization Monthly newsletter, obviously the first issue that I put out was all in relation to how we hit the 2 Column Club award in around about 14 months, right? So what I'd like to tell you about that is when we got started, it was a beta group, right? So we sold 20 spots initially. We opened another 20 later on and sold a total of 40 beta spots. And this was all with a cart page, right? It was a ClickFunnels cart page, but nothing else. We didn't have like a fancy funnel. We didn't have any of that stuff. We had our brand. I had 374 people in my audience at that time, in my actual Facebook group. My partner in crime, my colleague, my mentor, had about 800, I think, from memory. And the third gentleman, Chris, didn't have an audience at all, right? And so, or like a small one, but not anything of sizable value, put it that way. And so what ended up happening was we managed to sell based on the credibility of our brands, basically, and of what we were helping people achieve. And so that's my point. And then eventually we rolled out a full VSL, core funnel, all that type of fancy stuff as well. But certainly didn't need to start with. Right. Anyway, all that being said, see some awesome folks here. Guys, make sure you just smash in the like button, drop a comment. There's a chat there. Let me know you're here. And I'm going to kick off things of what I want to go through and cover, like say, some really cool stuff. So once again, there is a link in the description if you're interested in grabbing some free funnel templates as well. Right. So let's kick it off. I'm going to share my screen. And yeah, that's it. Cool. So controversial keyword. Let's just Google tell me that. Tell me that. Cool. Drop some comments, guys. Keep the energy flowing, and I will rock and or roll rather than me just looking at my face. So let's make sure. Yes, I am showing the screen. Cool, cool, cool. Right. So this was just to circle back anyone that's joining us late. Basically, what I've got here is a funnel map. This was given by students who asked me to review this. I'm just going to cover this and my thoughts around it. So that way, if you guys get bored after this, you go to whatever you guys want to do, right? So kicking things off, what I'm going to do, actually, shut that window. It's going to annoy me because I can hear it playing in the background. And so we're at the start phase over here, $5 VSL 5-day course. Now, I didn't review this prior, by the way, so this is all new to me as well. And so they start there, they go through a checkout, the $27 OTO, low ticket bump sell. Cool, yeah, that works. 5 to 27. That's so little side note. If you go from like really small, like $5, right, which is tiny investment, so bam, for argument's sake, is not much, right? But then on the other side, you've got like a disconnect because the upsell, the first OTO at one-time offer, is massive. It's like $7,000 or something like that. There's a disconnect. It means that there's not going to be anyone that's going to buy at that level unless you've got a ton of brand credibility. Like Scott Oldford is really good at this. He will often have a bump where he charges $2,500. Like, you're buying a $27 thing, masterclass, whatever, bang, you buy that, and then there's a little button that you can click literally, and it will sting you $2,500, and you get access to whatever, right? So unless you've got his type of credibility, it's don't do that. Make sure that the gap between your entry and the OTO, the bump, whatever you're doing, is small, right? So $27 is a really good pricing point. You might want to try 29 as well. It doesn't really make a difference to conversions. 27, 29, it's a couple of extra bucks if you want to go down that pathway. Looks like it's a 5-day challenge, 1 day 1 to 5 brand development and lead with extreme high value. Yep, absolutely. Day number 3, present an affiliate offer to Marketing Suite, which is $47 plus 37 per month. I don't quite understand what that means. 47 plus 30%. So does that mean there's a thing on top of that? 47 times, oops. Does that make sense? Yeah, 66.27. Is that what it means? 30% on top of that? I'm not entirely sure, unless that's a commission. But okay. I would aim for high ticket personally. If you're going to do a 5-day challenge, I would aim for high ticket rather than a recurring. Now, my logic for this is that, and obviously there's a lot of folks here that have come here through the newsletter, right, which is $11 a month. Now, here's the thing. The newsletter is going to be slow burn. I'm going to build that up over time. It's going to be a relatively passive asset for me. But the problem is that every month, anytime you got a recurring, it really doesn't matter the size of it. It doesn't matter. There's going to be drop off. You're going to get an attrition rate coming through. And so what it means is if you are looking at whatever your financial goals are, and you're like, cool, $47 a month times whatever it is, right? A little bit of recurring. But the thing that you're not taking into consideration is the attrition rate will be astronomically high. I'm talking like 30% attrition rate sometimes more, right? So month number 1, you get a whole bunch of sales. You're like, go me, yeah. But you need 100 of them to make 4,700 a month, right? So you need a lot of volume. And like I say, unless whatever you're selling, it says it's a marketing suite. So whatever you're selling, unless that is an absolute necessity for that person's business, which most people, when they're getting started, it's not going to be, then you're going to have a very high attrition rate. Now, you will get outliers. I promoted Builderall back in the day, another funnel builder, and I promoted that in 2017, 2018. And I've still got people kind of like on the rent roll from then, right? But these are businesses. I was selling B2B. And so these are businesses that create websites for their own clientele, meaning that obviously they need that as part of their product suite at this point, right? So I would aim for something a little bit higher ticket. Maybe if you're selling based off a 5-day challenge. I don't know if you're doing it live. But yeah, I mean, you can certainly try the recurring at that price point, but I would suggest you go higher, like $500 or $1,000, something like that. Day number 6, VSL, $97 offer. Yeah, that can work. The only consideration is I would probably put this right as part of the initial funnel sequence. And here's the thing with that, unless I've misunderstood something here, right? But what happens is if people jump in to a paid opportunity, when they've already got their wallet out, it is the best time to sell them something else, right? That aligns with the core offer, right? If it's completely irrelevant, it's not going to work anyway. But in these typical situations, if you've got like $5, $27 bump, an OTO, a downsell, another OTO, downsell, etc., you should be aiming for 15 to 20% upsell rate, basically. So if someone takes the front end, around about 20% of them should, in theory, take the upsell, right? And what happens is if you then say, cool, here's the information, here's the 5-day challenge, and now you're going to get this other pitch, and at the end of that, you're going to get these pitches, whatnot. The disconnect there is that a lot of people will fall off throughout that 5-day challenge. People get bored. They don't want to stick around with things. That life gets in the way. Sometimes not their fault at all. So therefore, you're actually got a diminished audience that you'd be pitching to at the end of that, right? So I would put it right at the start, personally. Unless I've misunderstood something, right? Like I say. OTO, mid-ticket 147 is a good price point. Actually, no, 147. I've struggled with that in the past, to be fair. I don't know what it is, why that price point. I've had a lot more success with 197 or 199 or 97, right? For some reason, like I said, don't know what it is, but it's been that might have been just me. I'm not too sure. I also had a lot more success with a higher price point, like 297, for example. Now, I'm going to show you guys a little trick here, a little ninja thing. So if you've consumed any of my content, hopefully everyone here has, otherwise you wouldn't be here. What I often speak about is price juxtaposition, right? Price anchoring, the contrast effect, things like that, right? So all this means is that basically you're trying to highlight the contrast between two different things. So big, huge number of value, $10,000 value, $100 to buy in, right? If you did it the other way and you're like, it's $100 to buy in, and then you're not showing like the actual value, then people go from 0 to 100, go, that's a lot of money, right? If you go $10,000 value, but it's only $100, then it seems small, the contrast effect, right? I speak about this a lot because it's so important. That's why I keep hammering it on. Now, I would put this here. I would put the most amount of cash you could possibly get here. What it does is like, because the idea is not necessarily when you're doing this to get a bunch of sales, it's to highlight the price. So if they think, oh my God, OTO combo upsell 347, like my goodness, what the hell? And so you won't get any or many takers, right? So if you don't, that's actually ideal because now you've contrasted the value and the price against the other ones. And that's where the ninja stuff happens, right? So OTO low ticket downsell, $47. I don't mind this, but you got to think about what the point of your brand is. Now, see over here, I'm pretty sure I saw like a high ticket upsell thing. So I'll speak about this for a second. But you got to consider the trust factor for your audience. So I've made a few mistakes by, I'll sell something for $50 and I'll sell it, 27 later on, things like that. But it's also, information products, if they're a little bit old, it's a little bit different, right? But I think if someone catches on that they can save $100, then it actually lowers the trust factor quite significantly for your brand, which by the way is fine if this is the entirety of your acquisition system. You're not looking to sell high ticket off the back of it, right? If that's what you're going for, like I say, I'll get you to use your own discretion about the ethics about it. But I would consider building a long-term business with long-term clientele, right? So something better than a downsell, I think, is a chopping up the price. So in this one, OTO 147, or like say maybe bump that up to 197 because it's not going to make too much of a difference at that point. Ideally, what you can do is then just break it up into say 4 installments of like, I don't know, what's the math on that, $50 each or whatever it is, right? And so therefore, it's actually technically still the same price, but they can get access for a lot cheaper at that point, right? So it just means that from a trust factor, you're not saying, hey, these suckers bought for an extra $100, ha 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 ha. It's more like, cool, well, everyone ends up paying the same price, but you can actually get started just for a singular installment of just $50, right? Hopefully this is making sense. Low ticket downsell. I don't know if that's coming off the back of that, like if it's like 147 and then half off. Again, same thing I just mentioned. Affiliate booster $30 a month for 2x comms. Okay, I think you're saying you can get double the. Oh, okay, hang on a minute. I might have got that there. So is that going to be 60% commission? Yeah, okay. And if that's the case, that's actually illegal. You might want to check the compliance on that. You can't charge people to have tiers. Like that's how the FTC will get involved, and they will hammer you. Like that's how. What was it called back in the day? Dudes, Matt Lloyd, MOBE, My Online Business Empire. Matt Lloyd's an Australian guy, built a $100 million plus business, and one of the things that they had was they'd sell like $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 packages, and so people were remortgaging their home because you couldn't get the commission off the $100,000 package if you were only in the $5,000 package, right? So sometimes people would upgrade to the $50,000, the $100,000, and then they were like, oh, but I really want that cash. So then they would have to then buy in to do that. And so FTC, basically smited them to the dark ages. Matt has been banned from online marketing, more or less, lives in Costa Rica. Very interesting guy. He's got a great book called Limitless. Highly recommend it. But yeah, that's a no. You can't do that. You can, so caveat, and make sure I'm transparent with this, you can withhold who gets access to an affiliate program, just to make sure that you guys are clear on that. So I could, for example, say, no, I don't let people that aren't in Ultimate Marketing Mastermind promote Ultimate Marketing Mastermind. The privilege of purchasing it is what you get. You get to promote it as well, right? So I can say that I can put a gatekeeper there because that's different, right? As opposed to but if you want extra comms, you have to pay me a little bit more. It's a little bit different. So I would scrap that. $7 a month offer. Yep, these work to collect buyers along the way. What I'd do here, and you'll get probably, and I'd probably actually put this earlier on in the funnel as well, but what I'd recommend is have a $1 trial or a free trial for 7 days, and then bang, it kicks in, because you'll get approximately, as long as the offer is like on money, you'll get around about 50% uptake rate. It's usually pretty high. Now, that's not my data. I can't really speak to that. I've never really done this in a funnel, to be perfectly honest. But from my sources, there's a few folks that I am in cahoots with, shall we say, and that's one of the things that they do as a technique. They will put a $1 or a free trial, and basically you get access to that. You can cancel anytime, but usually the uptake rate is significantly higher. Checkout, next page, call booking, high ticket upsell during call. Yeah, perfect. Okay. But yeah, going back to my point there, like I say, just be mindful of the trust factor there. I think that would be the only thing I would consider. Other than that, looks good. Most of my funnels look pretty simple. Make sure I'm still, yep. Cool, thanks Rob, appreciate it, man. Most of my funnels are real simple. I have, if I'm doing a low ticket, it'll be an entry of anywhere from, say, $5 is my lowest. So 5, and I will go up to about sort of $2.97 for the low to mid ticket stuff. 297. Now, little side note on that is, do you want volume of buyers, which means that you'd be leaning towards the lower end, meaning that there's less restriction between and less friction in the buying cycle, or would you prefer to have a slightly higher price entity, package, asset, whatever you want, get less buyers, but arguably potentially more high quality buyers? Now, what I mean by more high quality, I don't talk about someone's persona, anything like that. All I'm stating in that regard is quite simply that the probability of them upgrading is actually a lot higher as well. So I've found, especially that 297, I did a launch a few years back, and I only sold, it was like maybe 12 or 15 spots, 12 15 units. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine, at the 297 level. But I had 2, which is a pretty good conversion rate for the back, and 2 jump into 5K coaching packages, right? They paid 5K in advance, right? So high ticket 5K, one-on-one stuff. And that there, I don't even know what's the conversion rate on that. What did I say? 15. Oops, no, got it wrong. 2 div 15. So 13%, like that's an insanely high conversion rate. And so I would rather take less cash on the front end and collect less buyers potentially. But it really depends on what your aim is. Like, if you've got a list of buyers of some kind, they're more likely to convert, about 9 times more likely. So that's it. And then from there, always put a bump. It's basically like free cash with a bump, order bump. And so if you're unfamiliar with that, let me just see if I can show you guys real quick. I don't know if this is actually going to go anywhere. It might not. So order bump is like that there. One-time offer, yes, I will take it. And that basically allows folks to get an additional thing, and it's usually just a low ticket item, 27, 29, $17, things like that. Now, so bump, always, because it's just, you'll get, I've had as high as about 53% take the offer bump, right? So it's like free cash, it's just sitting there, and it's pretty easy once you set up one to do it again. What I will say though is that not every bump, and I've tested a whole bunch of different things, not every bump will work that well. I've had some that are quite low. I've had some that are like 17% uptake rate. So obviously they buy the front end, I'll take that. I've had others that are even lower than that. And it really depends on how, well, a couple of factors. This one here did extraordinarily well. $29 one-time offer. I know this is really crazy, but the little arrow made, I'm talking like 15% difference in conversions. It was just insane, just putting that little arrow, because it just highlights that. I also played around with having it automatically turned on. So as soon as someone jumps in here, they have to think about turning it off, which then removes that from the cart page or from their cart. And so that actually made a significant difference as well. It's also my entire bonus folder. So it is a high value offer there as well. There's like 100 different things in there that people can use as their own bonuses, or they can go through their information there, or they can use the files, templates, etc., that type of stuff. So it is very high value. Others that I've tried, I've done like offer creation stuff, for example, not as high, like really, really low stuff. And so, have to play around with it. The other part of it, actually, interestingly enough, the green actually made a massive difference. So I originally did not have the green there, both in the title and the button color. I can't even remember what it was now. Didn't convert as well. So a couple little side things for you. From there, from the bump, I almost always will go straight into, and this kind of contradicts what I said earlier, but I almost always go into like a 97 to 197 offer. Almost, not all the time. Like there is times where I've changed that. Now, what I have also tested, like I mentioned before, is I will put here, instead of these prices, I will put, like I say, a $495, sometimes even higher, like $1,000 anchor right at the start. So what that means is that on occasion you're going to get a buyer there as well, right? So I've seen people that go literally from free opt-in and their tripwire upsell is $1,000, right? Like it's crazy. They would get low volume buyers, but they would be high quality, right? If someone's willing to make that type of decision for those things, they're usually going to be relatively high quality. You're probably still going to get a few refunds though, but anyway, can't avoid that. So bump, either that. And then, like I say, I either do one of two things. I have tested doing a downsell, and then I started really deep diving into it. I was like, hang on a minute. If I'm saying, this thing's $100, but then if you say no, then you get presented with a $50 thing on the other side. I was like, no, I can't really do that. And so I changed the mold a little bit and started just breaking it into, four payments type stuff. So whether that's, $25 or $50, whatever it is. I don't normally go any further than 2 upsells. I've seen funnels, and depending on how you launch all that type of stuff, like if you're on Warrior Plus, I've seen those funnels, some of them have like 14 steps, like it's just mental. And kudos, like, because they work astronomically well, right? But I have a different goal in mind of what I want to do. Plus, I'm a little bit lazy. I'd rather just have something simple rather than having to glue together a whole bunch of cart pages all the time, right? So there's that pretty much. Upsell one, OTO one time offer one. OTO or downsell would be the payment plan, and then sometimes I just do one more, which could be a bunch of things. Sometimes I'll have like a 197 coaching call. Well, that's a crazy one. It looks like the Salvador Dali's paintings with the big elephants. But sometimes I'll do like a discounted coaching call. My normal rate's $500 an hour, so to get on a strat call for a couple $100 or whatever is pretty cheap. That also means that I'm loading up my own calendar if I'm taking sales calls. Plus, in doing so, you get an astronomically high show-up rate. Now, what I would say is you do have to treat these like coaching calls. You can't just kind of go, thanks for joining me, and then try and pitch them stuff. You can obviously give them a bulletproof plan to help them out, and casually ask at the end of it, do you have any plans moving forward? Would you like to hear about how we help our clients, right? So make that clear distinction. Like I say, you don't want to just be pitch all the time. It is about establishing that bond with that person if you're going to go down that pathway. But it works, like I say, very high show-up rates. You help a bunch of people out. It changes the frame, the dynamic as well, because you're already in this state of helping folks. And so therefore, once you've proven in advance you can help them, they're more likely to convert anyway. And you'll probably, even if you're the worst salesperson in the world, you'll probably still convert around about 10 to 20% into clientele off the back of these anyway. It's a pretty high conversion rate. So that's one option. You can have digital assets, you can have bundles, you can have, you name it, but, like say, similar price points for these types of funnels. I've got like say for example, $27 front end, $29 order bump, and then, the rest of the funnel I usually stick between the 1 to 200 range, just because the volume is going to be there and a lot easier to convert. So it's my 2 cents on it. Hopefully that helps, guys. Any questions on that just before we move forward? Remind me to share my screen again before I change into the other side of things. Good start. Right. So I'm going to break down some stuff, and I'll start with the Ultimate Marketing Mastermind funnel because it's pretty ninja, and then we'll cover the rest of it as well. And obviously, any questions, just throw them in the chat. I know it's a different format for folks, but an engaged audience is a good one, so don't be shy. Okay, add the page. Cool. Right now, a call funnel is basically where you are. Guess what? You're looking to load up your calendar with sales calls. Probably, in my opinion, obviously my business has evolved slightly. I don't really do sales calls to the same degree these days. Having said that, though, everyone in Ultimate Marketing Mastermind, you guys have access to this. It is me taking these at the moment. I'm looking to outsource it if volume picks up. But it's there. It does all the selling for you. You don't really need to sell anything. I'm never going to push the whole 90% done for you bullshit. Like I fucking hate it. But it is available for you folks. So don't be shy about using it because it's there, right? So opt-in page. My strong advice to everyone is always make your opt-in page really simple, right? It doesn't need to be this fancy, crazy thing. I'll show you, this feels a little bit cluttered in some ways. So I'll show you later on a couple of very, 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 very simple ones that do convert extraordinarily well. So free online training. So, title suggests what it is straight away. Our coaches, I'm calling out my avatar, coaches, course creators, and affiliates. So there's 3 people that I go after. Creating highly leveraged lifestyle business and banking consistent 10 to 30K months without big audiences, posting content all day or complex tech. Click to access free training. So that's it, right? Real simple. It's the typical framework of how to achieve X without Y, right? There's another one you can put in, even if blah, blah. So I could have put, even if you've tried and failed before, or even if you have no audience, or even if you're not tech savvy, or even without running ads, things like that. So that would just make it ever so slightly more powerful, but it's about testing these things, right? Now, this is probably about the 30 to 50th iteration I've had of this page and also of the write-up itself, right? So this could change in future. So the point that I'm raising with that as well is don't get married to your funnel, right? If you go and grab the link in the description, you happen to upload the call funnel and you're like, cool, I need a call funnel. Don't get married to the call to action. Don't get married to the headline, I should say, sorry. Because if you are unemotional about it, then you can test things and you're just looking at the data. So you go, okay, I got 100 clicks to the site and I got 10% opt-in rate. That's not great. Okay, I made a tweak. Great, now I've got it to 20. Now here's the cool thing about this type of funnel as well, especially if you're selling high ticket coaching, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, etc., is that all you need to do, think about it this way. If I'm running an ad, for example, now I'm not at the moment, by the way, but if I was, and I've got this all laid out, and all things being equal, I know that it books a call for me. I know people have gone through this pathway and they have purchased, booked a call, and then I've sold something. So if I know that data exists, right, then it means that I've got a baseline to work on. Then once you add paid traffic to that, the stats are going to drop significantly, costs are going to go up. But what it means is that, imagine this for a moment. I have my funnel done and I want to hit X amount per month. And I decide all I need to do is work on one thing and one thing only to literally double my business, okay? Imagine if, just hypothetically, I can get my opt-in rate from 10% to 20%, which is extremely low as well, by the way. I've just doubled my business literally in just that moment. Doubled my business. Imagine that for a second. That's kind of crazy. So all I would need to do in order to double my monthly revenue is to literally work on one page of my entire funnel. Now, that's the cool thing about doing this, because okay, well, I'm getting clicks coming through, I'm getting people coming through, people seeing my content, and then I can double my business from that. Kind of crazy, right? It's pretty awesome. So, little bit about me. I probably need to update that pic, although my beard is ever so slightly grayer these days. Free class, you'll uncover the process we use to scale my business 51K months, process responsible for hundreds of success stories, blah, 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 how to avoid the most common mistakes. So these bullet points, I like using both positive tense and negative tense. What I mean by that is positive tense, process I use to scale my business to 51K months. Cool. That's awesome. So I'm also not saying, here's the other part about this from a compliance standpoint. I'm not making a claim. I'm not saying you will definitely scale your business 51K months. Same with that. I'm not technically making a claim like how coaches are using this, right? So that's positive tense. You're leaning towards a positive outcome. Negative tense is on the other side. It's a copywriting thing, right? It's where you're taking the negative thing and you're highlighting it. How to avoid the most common mistakes new marketers make. So if you're a new marketer, guess what? You're going to start thinking, am I making those mistakes? That's interesting. Should I, maybe I should opt in just to check this out, right? So that's negative tense. It means that you're pushing one way versus the other. How one of my students made of 10 grand in 29 days without prior audience. So it basically puts in the mind like, hey, it's not just this guy getting results. It is doable. I don't have an audience. Okay, well, that guy didn't have an audience as well, right? So a couple little things. Plus, these you won't need to worry about these too much, but you're welcome to swipe these disclaimers, all that type of stuff. Then you can do that via the link there. Now, once you click that, it's going to open that up. Click to get instant access. I've toyed around with having name and email, different headline. I will probably keep optimizing this just for that reason, but that in itself, that'll convert as it is, right? This is the next page. I literally just did an update of this video recently. Just make sure, that's my updated version. You're welcome to snoop through it if you guys want, ultimatemarketingmastermind.com. And there is an option there to make it go faster, all that type of stuff. Now, the changes I've made for anyone in Ultimate Marketing Mastermind, you want to load this up with people and you want me to speak to them or my team to speak to them, really, really simple. Obviously, just send them there. There is an option on the application form. If you happen to send someone through, you're wondering, how do we track this? Because it's a different format. There is an option there, who referred you here? And in that thing that says who referred you here, guess what? They're going to say the affiliate's name. So if I end up taking a call, I end up closing that sale for you, I'll just tag you as the affiliate, right? Nice and easy. Don't need to think about it. So all that being said, a couple of things I'd like to point out why this works so well. So the format that I've changed is there used to be like a 45-minute deep dive strat session, but I started realizing that I don't like that form. I don't like that idea of like someone jumps on a call and I kind of like have to force the issue about getting them to buy. Like even though that's sales 101, I've done it for years, can do it, have done it thousands of times, quite literally. But I also don't necessarily love the format, right? I like the idea of like, hang on, I get on a call for 15 minutes. I can establish whether or not I gel well with this person and whether I truly believe that I can help them. And I'm not treating it like a sales call. Now, what that's going to do is a couple of things. Number one, hop on a 15-minute call. Of course, my calendar is going to be loaded up, right? Or once I outsource it, it's going to be loaded up. And that's completely fine. What's going to happen, though, is that I'm going to be able to rapidly build a bond with someone. I'm going to go, okay, I can work with this person. I can't really see myself working with this person. I don't think I have the right resources available for this particular person as well. So I will tell them I have no qualms. I don't need their money, right? And that's the thing. That's kind of the beauty of this approach. Now, if it just so happens we are getting along, this has happened to me numerous times where a 15-minute session will turn into a slightly longer session. I closed about $11,000 Aussie deal. I think about 7.5 US from memory, something like that. From that exact thing, person jumps on, I listen to them, I gave them a strategy to work through it, and then they said, well, what else? I feel like I need your help. I'm like, okay, cool. This is how I help. Okay, let's do it, right? And so it does work. But typically what's going to happen is I'll get on, I'll establish whether or not I can work with them, whether I want to, all that type of stuff. And then effectively from there, what I'll look to do is then develop another call with them, whether that's a full strat session or another short-term one, and just say, look, here's how I believe I can help you out, and then I will look to present that at a different time. Okay, so click to apply for the breakthrough for your breakthrough now. So I'm not calling it a sales call. It's not, right? You cannot buy anything on this call, leave your wallet at home. So I'm taking the pressure off them. If they think like, I'm just gonna, this guy's just gonna try and sell me some stuff. Yeah, it's a sales process, but I hadn't, like I say, zero interest in working with people I don't believe I can serve. Zero. So I'm not that desperate, right? So anyways, color schemes, nice and highlight green, you can't miss it. And I have this little test that I do, I call it the peripheral test, basically. It's where, like, if you're looking away from your screen, you can still see the big color of the button, right? And I love that approach, right? It means that you are looking, I can still see a green thing sitting on my screen there. Random little quote from me, all true, of course, and then just goes into some of the awards that I've been able to give out, which is kind of cool. Domagoy hit the gold one recently. Cool. Rob, a few folks that I've given the awards to and whatnot, which is kind of cool. Seems to be building up, which is nice. A bit more social proof, and then that's it, right? So nice and easy. Now, you might not have that social proof, and that's completely fine. Don't overthink that process, because the template that I gave you guys is actually just a two-step, right? So my core funnel is quite fancy. It's quite nuanced. There's a lot of moving parts to it. You don't need to get started with that. Literally, all you need is, like, I'm not kidding, a opt-in page. In some core funnels I've seen don't even have that. They just literally, here's the VSL, book a call if you want. Like Charlie Morgan, for example, you might have seen his ads. He's the English guy that does agency stuff and helps load up your sales calendar. He doesn't have an opt-in page. It's just got a little VSL on a page and then opt-in to book a call, basically, and that's it, right? So don't need to get that fancy. Now, once they hit that, they're going to go through to this page. I say more or less little video there. Basically said, look, if you come this far, maybe you're willing to take one extra step. There is a form below, lock in a time, and me or my team will have a chat to see if we can help you out, basically. Go down there. There's a link to Calendly. Like I say, change the format. It's just 15 minutes at the moment. And they can book 3 days in advance. Little side note for you guys as well. Don't keep that open forever, because people that book any further out than sort of like 3 to 5 days are going to forget. And so your show-up rate drops, and that is freaking annoying, right? So keep it tight, so that way you're also loading up your own calendar as well, while the message is still clear in their minds, all that type of stuff. Next, once they go through that, they will be then redirected to this page here, which doesn't seem to be working for some weird reason. Yeah, that's right. It's got a timer on it. And so there's another video. It's basically said, look, thanks so much for locking in the time. Your application hasn't been confirmed yet. Please make sure that you hit the link below. I need to make that square to keep it in line with the rest of the funnel. And then they go through to to this page, basically. And that's just a jot form. Like I say, this is super fancy. You don't need to get into all this detail, and they just go through the application process. And then that's it. They then finally, after they've gone through that, they are presented with this page. I basically say, look, here's what to expect. And I don't know if you can see that, but on the screen there, I will show other people I've given awards to, some of my high-ticket clients I've had over the years, different wins, different comments and quotes people have said about me and my brand, things like that as well. And yeah, so it just keeps that visual going throughout the entire thing. And then basically that's it. You're going to receive SMS and email confirmations prior to the call. Please ensure you're in a quiet spot for your distractions, so we can make most out of our session. So the kind of cool thing about this, I also need to get rid of that because it's incongruent with the rest of the funnel. But the reason why this works so well, the reason why it is like I've got these different points along the way, is because I want to make sure that people rock up first and foremost. And also, once they get the application form, I can then say to them, hey, thanks so much for submitting that. But I think based on everything you mentioned, this is probably not going to be the right pathway for you at the moment. Thanks so much, but here's some free information, right? So it means that I can still manage my calendar. It's not just going to be riddled with people that know absolutely nothing about nothing. It's going to be people that are semi-qualified at least to jump on, right? So that's kind of the genius of all the stuff. Does that make sense? Any questions on the back of that? Keep dropping those comments, guys. Otherwise, it gets freaking lonely over here. Hit the chat. Hopefully, you guys like my song. Cool. All right. So let's let's rock and roll. So that's number one. That's the main call funnel for Ultimate Marketing Mastermind. So feel free to go hop on that and just check it out if you like. Just if you are testing it, just save my mental health. If you guys just put test whatever it is, right? That just makes life a little bit easier. So you also have a basically to swipe this as well as part of that thing in the description. Right, what else we got? So you also get access to this. This is my Freedom 4 Steps sales page. You get access to basically swipe this entire thing, which includes all the font, all the write-up, all the copy, all that type of stuff. This page, it converts really well. It was a really good write-up. I was pretty happy with the copy and everything. So, change it as you will. Change the color scheme. Don't make it exactly the same, but you're welcome to swipe that as well. So, this is for my FIFS workshop, which I did. And that has made a ton of cash over the years, both directly through the actual sale of the workshop itself, which is around about I think a 2 or 3 hour thing that I ran with slides and that type of stuff. Was pretty cool. And then also through the upsells on the back of it, plus also the the cross sells with other programs and things I've sold over the years as well. So a couple of things I'm going to break down a little bit, and then we can rock and roll as well. So exclusive FIFS workshop. This could be a game changer for your business. I think I had a timer up there originally, and the page, timed out or whatever. So, but that's not super relevant. But it's a good placeholder. Exclusive FIFS workshop reveals. So you don't want to make things hard for people, right? Then people don't like. I love learning, but if you have learn versus reveal in a sentence, the reveal is always going to win, right? Because it's revealing something. It's like, haha, today I'm here. Or discover, or uncover, things like that. Because these are easy words. Once you are on an adventure and you're uncovering something, you're like Scooby-Doo and his gang. If you're revealing something, it's like, I knew it. Sherlock Holmes and Watson, like revealing the clues, and Poirot and revealing clues and stuff, right? As opposed to if you're learning, then a lot of the time there's a subconscious association with how hard something can be if you're learning, right? Hidden Blueprint, responsible for over $40,000 monthly revenue as an organic marketer without ads or complex setup. Never before revealed process, and that was true at that time. I had not gone through the intricate details of what my business is all about, and recorded a little video to go along with it. Simple process shows how. This was off an existing ClickFunnels template, and obviously just made my own words there. Get instant access. I showed the price there because it's juxtaposed against the 40K. So I thought, might as well. I've tested it without, and I ended up still getting quite a few clicks through the cart page, but less buyers, as opposed to if they know, okay, well, if I'm going to click to get access, then they have more buyer intent because they know all the information at that point, right? So me with my Gryffindor jacket and my sly little grin, holding up my little award there. So, and then it's it's a very strong kind of message. And, read this before going any further. From the desk of me, it's just a format for writing. From the desk of Jamie Gardner, whatever it is, right? Checking out FIFS, Freedom of 4 Steps, the exclusive yada yada yada. That monetization month. I need to update that. It's a little bit higher these days. If you're an affiliate marketing coach, consultant, or course creator, and you've felt like this before. Well, actually not felt like this, felt this. It's different. And this is so common. These are like things that people struggle with, right? And I know this. This is my game. And so I'm sort of basically saying, look, I understand you first and foremost. I'm addressing the things that are going through people's minds. Stuff is not going to be doable. In fact, as a guest, but a small portion of those readings will get it. And so I'm polarizing my audience a little bit here, because basically if I'm getting people to feel an emotion with this stuff here, and then over here I'm basically saying, but it's not going to be doable for most people. It's a damaging admission at some point. I'm not just hyping it up and just saying, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, freaking everyone needs to buy this thing. It's more like, but not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone's going to be able to make these types of incomes, right? And so then what it does is it as a kind of like a paradox of sorts, people actually get further drawn into that, because if I tell someone you can't do that, two things are going to go through most people's mind. Like, damn you, yes, I can, right? Depending on what it is, I might say, hey, you're not going to be able to finish that slice of cake in the next 30 seconds. And you're just like, oh, because a lot of the time our ego becomes very competitive, right? So if we're pushing people away in this format, then you want to be one of the ones. You want to be one of the good ones that makes it, right? And this is across industries as well. So subconscious, all happening in split seconds, right? Also, actually pretty easy once you know how to craft an offer and build an audience. Most people just want the done for you stuff, and this is like my thing. I freaking hate all that stuff. I will have at times done for you elements of my business. So done for you funnels. Obviously, you guys have got all those templates there. Done for you other things, but not in a typical manner. Yeah, and if you're just looking to swindle some cash off your audience and not really build a sustainable business, it's not going to be the right thing. But again, it is a damaging mission. If you're mildly intrigued, even because now I'm like, well, I don't know, some people aren't going to read further on. And that's exactly what you're getting. Workshop's going to be blah blah blah. It's going to be dramatically different because I don't want to create an objection for people. I don't want them to think, oh, is this just the same as everything else? No, it's completely different. Top essentially, blah blah. Go to craft money making posts, create a compelling offers that attract you. It's pretty good. Like sharks to blood and have a goodie bag filled with high level monetization techniques to extract maximum value from audience. I liked writing this. Anyway, we don't have to go through all this stuff. Little thing with bullet points, right? So, and I'll have to be kind of cautious how I say this because I don't want to confuse folks. But as far as things like bonuses go, we want to contract down the amount that there are available, right? So we want to minimize that because we don't want to overwhelm folks with too many messages and they need to do too many things, stuff like that, right? But having said that, as part of a sales page, having a bunch of bullet points is actually really handy. Because the more bullet points, it subconsciously says, oh, I'm getting more stuff, right? So just a little tip for you guys. How to attract the right audience, why a simple process will allow you to build an audience craft offer, blah, blah. No slimy sales tactics, why the common way most people think of their offers is doomed to failure. What is that? Like, what does that mean? And so am I part of that? Am I thinking about that in the wrong context? Like it's meant to stir up some sort of like emotional response there. 3 key tasks focus on daily. Without these, you're leaving money on the table. Why am I? I'm building a business. Am I leaving money on the table? And that's kind of what you want to have people question in mind. What would missing sales feel like? Oh, kind of crap. To be honest, I hate missing sales. Like it really gets me if I someone says follow up on Wednesday and I forget, or it doesn't load into my CRM properly, and by Thursday I've jumped into something. Like I freaking hate that. So, but it happens, right? We've been making this common big money mistake. Most people don't know if they're doing it, and that's the thing. Like I don't know, am I making a big money mistake? Find yourself struggling what to write. This will give you absolute clarity and allow you to create your content with ease. How to eliminate the lurkers, because that's the thing. We've all got folks that just they look at stuff, they never buy it, right? That happens in most audiences, but there is certain things you do to negate that to a certain extent. Anyway, I'm going to move a little bit quicker through this stuff. Just conscious of time, but you guys have access to all this stuff anyway. Like I say, just click the link there and grab the free stuff. Advanced monetization system for turning strangers into eager buyers that will buy for you time and time again. It's kind of cool. So I turn it from slightly negative before, like, oh, you are leaving money on the table. You're making this big mistake. Is life really that bad for you? And then bang, you're now creating a different dynamic by like, yeah, but hey, but now you've got this thing, eager buyers, like, easy and fun to produce. Cool. Thankfully, there's a system. Again, a system is easier than like a business where you have to work really hard, right? So one's easy. It's a system. I just deploy a system. It's done. The other one is like build a business out, right? Here's what to do next. So basically, it's the kind of like the Frank Kern protocol here, which is essentially, here's what I got, here's what it does. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what I want you to do next. So I literally just wrote, here's what to do next. Cool. Okay. And so therefore, hit that. Here's some access. Obviously, you can see big red buttons absolutely everywhere. Now, I just realized something as I was talking before about the cart page. If you guys recall, I was showing you guys the order bump. A little mistake that I made is I've got this fancy funnel with the nice red, and then on the cart page, there's no red to be seen. The only thing that's red is the little arrow that was flashing, right? Nothing else. So little mistake. I probably should have had congruence between those two and just kept the cart page with red button, all that type of stuff. Anyway, I didn't. No upsells, anything like that. I think I did have an upsell though. I think maybe when I first created this, I didn't, and that was the difference. Actually, I don't think I do. Yeah. Anyway, let me sweeten the deal with these extras. 6-figure sales script. Nice visual there. Sounds like looks like someone's writing with a quill or whatever. 297 value. Like I say, juxtaposing, thank you, brain. Juxtaposing the price there again, just stacking up that value, but not going too crazy. Like, sales script, $700,000, content curated, $900,000. Like, not too crazy. They're just within the realms of possibility. Content curated is like it's probably redundant these days, to be honest. It was done on Excel. Sorry, not Excel. What do you call it? It might have been Excel, actually. Google Sheets or Excel, can't remember which one. But how to create content prompts was pretty cool. But I say it's redundant because AI and stuff nowadays. Bait and switch strategy for unlimited leads. So not a great name. I really hate bait and switch style strategies for sales, personally speaking, but it still invokes curiosity there. Perfect close and content vault. So kind of overdid it a little bit with the bonuses there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it's not bad. They're all relatively congruent as well, right? So it's like sales script, content, leads, closing sales, content, right? So pretty cool. $1,185 value. Juxtaposing once again. Take me years to learn the stuff. Tens of thousands of best programs, probably more now. So defining moment, decisions now. Little bit of a breakdown here of the guarantee, right? So there's a promise in place. So I'll literally pay if this doesn't help. And so that's a captivating thing to say. What you would pay to? Okay, crazy. And it is a pretty ironclad guarantee. Just not help you get more leads and sales and help you attract your perfect audience. I will give you a full refund and pay you $50 for wasting your time. Of course, one of those weirdo, and so therefore this is where you can switch things around, right? So I'm basically saying, listen, it's on me. I'm going to pay you for your time if you go through the stuff and it doesn't work. Now, of course, someone if they just say, hey, I watched it, did nothing with it, and I want $50. I'll be like, cool. Well, have you put in any effort to create that or not? No. Okay, well, fine. So you got to put a disclaimer here. So this one works exceptionally well. If you're one of those weirdos, so I'm already framing them because it is a very weird thing to do. People looking to fleece certain things, and I use the word fleece as well because it's like you're trying to scam me basically in that point. And then basically saying, taking no action, looking to blame others for your lack of success, or if you just haven't tried, you can leave now. Basically, this offer. And may the fleece from 1,000 camels infest you for all your days. And that's just it's a little bit of cheeky humor there, and a little bit of polarity, and a little bit of that kind of like, okay, well, I probably shouldn't get a refund then, because like I said, I don't care. I've refunded this a few times, but I will if and honor that, of course, if people say, hey, I tried it, didn't work. Okay, cool. What didn't work? Then I'd give them money. That's fine. But anyway, it's an ironclad guarantee. That's it. So let's go through the cart page and the order button type stuff. So that's one. Now, little change that I made. This is my group entry funnel. Really, really basic funnel. Nice and simple. And this works exceptionally well. I haven't got any stats just yet, but this will be a high converting one. So a couple of changes that I made. The original one I had was specifically for, it's called the Ultimate High Ticket Affiliate Group, group.com. And I was like, I'm changing. I realized a little while back that, yeah, I'm an affiliate marketer, but it's not really fair to just say I'm the affiliate guy, because reality is I help people sell digital products. I've helped offline businesses. I've helped write copy for all sorts of different businesses before, and help with different things. And so I thought, I really want to open the scope of who I can help as well, especially when it comes to like B2B stuff in particular. And so that's why I'm kind of making the change. So I changed the URL, put this on a new page. I've had the domain for a long time, but just decided to put it on there. So it's now just the Ultimate High Ticket Group, right? So a little change there. Join our exclusive community. So there's an element of social proof here. Connect with over 5,419. Now I'm laughing because there's an option in Facebook groups to go and remove all the folks that have disconnected their account. I don't know why it's not an automated thing, but there you go. So I counted, and it was like 24 accounts that basically had been deleted or banished to the dark ages from Facebook. So I was like, okay, well that figures it's probably not relevant now. It's probably more like 5,390, whatever it is, right? But anyway, there's an element of social proof. The online entrepreneurs, so I'm just keeping it open. So if you've got an audience of some kind, there's a high probability I'll be able to help someone monetize it, basically. Dedicated to helping your brand attract even more high-paying customers. A lot of folks, especially on Instagram in particular, they'll have a chunky audience, but like the monetization sucks. Like they're just not doing a great job, and so therefore I'm just trying to attract some of those folks. Plus, get our exclusive free welcome pack, which everyone in Ultimate Marketing Mastermind, you guys have got the templates there. I would still encourage you to use those just because they work exceptionally well. And there's a value there, $500 for that training. Click to claim your invite. So I'm not saying you guarantee to get in, right? Now, if they jump in, it's obviously one where I've got the name there as well. Join now. They go through this page here. Like I say, you got access to this as well, so you can go to swipe. But this is both on system.io and ClickFunnels. Your application to join has not yet been approved. So what I'm doing with this one is I'm pushing them away a little bit because I don't want folks in there that are just looking to swipe leads. And unfortunately, that's going to happen anyways. Idiots out there that just, they give nothing to a community and they just look to take, right? So that's going to happen all the time. But I don't want everyone in there. I want folks that are willing to be in there, that are cool, right? That I'd hang out with. So therefore, I figure if they can't be bothered going to check their inbox to see an email about the group, then they're probably not going to be a great member anyway, right? So then I can scrub it from the list at some point. So basically tell them to list my email address, why the extra step, and that's pretty much everything I just echoed there. So nice little two-step. There is one other page, and that is just some free training that I've got. And interestingly, I'll show you guys, so you guys know what I'm about. What did I call it? EPI. That's right. And so this is it's an unattached page. It's nothing. It's just part of the funnel. It just sits there. And so this is just a little bit of training I did about my EPI methods, the event present intent method for collecting high-ticket buyers, right? So it's basically where you run a virtual event. And then there's a link there which goes straight to my newsletter for $11 a month, right? Nice and easy. That's it. Last but not least, I'm going to show you the last one I got here, and that is just a list building funnel, right? So there's no kind of like nothing fancy. It's literally just 2 steps. And so I've just got this thing here. I've kind of done a few breakdowns of this particular page before, and although I haven't run it specifically with this particular URL before, historically it would convert at 68 to 70%. Like it was phenomenally high opt-in rate. And so the way that I had it previously, it was brand new tool reveals and the same font, same text, same color scheme, all that type of stuff. And it was basically brand new tool free tool reveals how to create endless high converting content in minutes, even if you suck at cold, like something like that, right? And so, but yeah, converted so well off cold and warm traffic. And there's a couple of reasons. Obviously, the text itself, and that page doesn't actually exist anymore, but it was free. Number one, brand new. Number two, tool. So a tool as opposed to like, here's a guide or here's some free training. Like you know what to expect, so it lowers your sense of like thrill about getting something new, because it's like, I know this training like it's an hour long, it's 10 minutes, like, oh god, then I have to sit through something, I have to interpret in my mind, all that type of stuff, right? So a tool is different. It's like a software, piece of software, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, I can download it and just create stuff for you. So, and then high converting, help you get more leads and sales through content, things like that. But then the other parts of it are in the background. We've got New York sitting there, and that is the if you think about New York, obviously Big Apple, but I also think about money. I think about like Wall Street and financial markets and all that type of stuff, right? So that's a subconscious thing for a lot of us. In fact, it's in black and white. It's not super obvious, but it's sitting in our subconscious there. But the other part of it is click to access now. So if I look away from my screen, this is my peripheral thing that I was telling you guys about. If I look away from my screen, I still see a big chunky red button right in front of me there. And when I see that, I'm like, cool, okay, so you can't ignore it. And it pops in right on the screen. There's nothing you can get lost on or click away, anything like that. There's two decisions to be made on this page. And decision number one is, am I going to enter my information here and click that button to go to the next page and get the thing? Or am I going to close the tab or move away from the page, right? Two decisions. And so therefore, this is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of folks make is they'll have like, especially in Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that. It's like, here's my link tree, and it's like, 5-minute content, blah, 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 $20. This other thing, some other random link that no one knows what it does. And there's an affiliate link here, and then there's 7-day challenge there, blah, blah. And then there's a book a call with me, and I'm like, it's no wonder folks aren't making sales, because like, how do you determine what you want to do when you're there? There's too many decisions to make. And so you've got to minimize that, minimize decision fatigue when it comes to your funnels. That's the key element there. Right. So, and then they just jump in there, and they're presented with this page here, which is, again, it's the same format that I did. I need to update that video, but I'm not actually using this URL, but it's the same thing. And then they go through to my newsletter. So, and this is the crazy thing, right, is that you guys can all do this, right? It's super, super simple to get like a little opt-in page, start clicking a few emails, start emailing them, and have that as one branch of your overall business as well. So those three funnels, they've got a sales page to actually sell some stuff. You've got a call funnel, which is just basically when you're selling high ticket over the phone. And obviously just one to collect email leads for this one as well. Those are kind of like the three main funnels. They all work. They all have different purposes. One, I would argue, for the sales page, more of a low ticket thing, typically speaking. Not always, but typically speaking. Obviously the call funnel for high ticket stuff, I wouldn't sell a low ticket offer for a call funnel. It just sort of defeats the purpose with your time and energy for that. But that's it, folks. I'm going to see if there's any questions there, and stick around for a couple of minutes. But yeah, happy to field any questions you guys got, or any comments or whatever. Did anyone get any value out of this? No, Rob did. I appreciate it, man. First, highlight that question there quickly. So to be clear, to have a funnel, you need to have multiple offers. No, not necessarily. I normally suggest to folks to have one singular offer to start with, and then eventually, as your brand grows, then you probably want to start to feel like go out a little bit further. One thing that I also teach is basically having a sort of a tiered approach to things. Now, what I mean by that is, like, there are people in my audience. There's one customer in particular, and this person has spent in excess of $5,500 with me. In fact, there's multiple people that have spent in excess of $5,500 with me, but this one in particular never purchased a high ticket, ever, never entertained the idea. And what it means, here's the thing, right, is that your high ticket sits at the top of your mountain, right? It's going to bring in the most cash flow for your business. But the reality is that some people aren't going to need a full coaching, full high ticket offer. It might defeat the purpose, because they might have all the other elements, just one tiny little thing missing. And it might be that, for example, their content game isn't where it should be. And so therefore they need to get the content element solved in their mind, right? So therefore they're not going to buy the whole program, when reality is they just need that one tiny element of it. And so what I normally suggest is casting your net. What I mean by that is that I know if I have 100 people in my audience, I could aim just for my high ticket. I might monetize 1 to 5 people, hypothetically, right? Depending on price points, all that type of stuff. However, I can monetize 16% or more of my audience if I'm casting a wider net, because I know that these people might have this problem. These people might have that problem. These people need one-on-one coaching. These folks only need to figure out like what a funnel does, right? So therefore they come along to free training, or slightly paid training, I guess you call it, and that's it. So what I would suggest you do is, if you do have a funnel, is to have one singular thing that you're mainly promoting, and then just as part of that, I would also have like offset products as well, right? So that means that you're catering to your audience. You're also catering to where their budget is as well. That's the other part of it. So some folks are going to have a big budget. So therefore, they want the best thing. Other folks just they're getting started, or like I say, they only need one singular thing solved. So hopefully that makes sense. Hey Esther, how you doing? Thanks for hopping on. Yeah. So really good question. My core funnel has no affiliate tracking now. Having said that, it is still tracked. Okay, so what I do is there's an option, and feel free to go through it. Just ultimatemarketingmastermind.com. I am taking all the calls as well at the moment. I'm going to be looking to outsource the front end calls at least. So if you've got people that you feel might be suitable for UMM, feel free to send them through. But instead of tracking as we know it, effectively, if someone hops on the call, there's an option there, who referred you here. So it would be like Esther, for example. And doing so, I would, if I close them, I would just tag you as the affiliate. So yeah, that's kind of it's hard to explain, but basically with the affiliate software that I use, there's no way to send an email-based lead. And so what I mean is that I can't, like, say if you send me 100 leads, I can't have them as just like Esther's leads, if that makes sense. It's just, it's not taggable that way. And so this was like the cleanest way that we could do it. What it also means though is if I have a call with someone and they're obviously in your world, then that means that that person's yours, right? So that's the cleanest way I could come up with to make it all happen. Hopefully you guys got value out of it today. Had fun little training for you guys. Cool. All right, look, guys. Unless there's anything else you guys want to chat about, I will leave it at that. But massively appreciate you guys hopping on. Hopefully, you got a ton of value. Anyone that obviously I'll put the replay up, or it is going to be just the same URLs. So you're welcome to come back and watch it in future if you choose to. There's a bunch of stuff. And last but not least, like I say, feel free to hit the link below, grab all the free goodies below for the funnel templates if you want to just swipe and deploy them in your own business as well. So hopefully you guys got value. Thanks so much for everyone who tuned in and engaged, all that type of stuff. Really appreciate you guys, and take care. Go and build some funnels and do some fun stuff. All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks so much.